This is Off Track.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. James is on a yacht in the Bahamas, so here I am with Tim. I'm conducting a Tuesday episode, but so lucky to be joined by someone who I've known for quite a few years now, but is kind of making her debut and her mark in Indie next. Hailie Deegan, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I wouldn't mind being in the Bahamas on a yacht. It sounds very nice.
Right? It sounds way better than whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. Why don't you, for those that don't know, it's not a coincidence. So Deegan is your last name. So Brian Deegan's your dad. Obviously, hugely successful in the world of motocross and dirt bikes and everything. Mm-hmm. Was racing kind of always on your radar, and was it always cars, or did dirt bikes ever cross your mind?
Yeah, so I started racing when I was about 8, and that was at the time my dad just started getting out of moto, and he was still doing X Games, but not racing. He was doing the freestyle stuff and made the transition to off-road racing, and that's when I kind of took interest in it because I saw kids my age doing it, which is like there's so little people that have come from like the off-road scene because it's so West Coast. It was like its own little world. Like it felt massive at the time because like obviously you're a part of it. And then like now looking at it, I'm like, man, that was crazy. Like it was just its own little form of racing. Like that's all we knew. And there's a few kids that have gotten out and like gone to NASCAR and different things and done a bunch of different stuff, but like it's very, very small amount. But I had saw other kids my age racing, and like I was the type of kid, I see you do it as a kid, I want to do it. And so I just, from that moment I begged my parents and I was like, please, 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 like first kid, spoiled rotten by my mom. and so it was perfect timing because my dad was there already, and it was kind of, I was there. I was with my family hanging out. So why not?
And so what age was that?
That was for my 8th birthday, I got my first off-road truck. That was my birthday present.
And so you talk about the off-road racing and stuff, I have a little bit of awareness of it. But for our listeners, are you referring to like the score type of championship or like Kings of Hammers and everything? So
yeah,
kind of your trophy truck-esque.
Yeah. So I would say it's pretty much same type of vehicles, but it was a short course. And so it was like on like almost like what people would say like road course style. Mm-hmm. But it was just like a shorter course, minute lap times, something around that. And it was like Baja style on a short course. And then that series kind of has fizzled out now. So it's not like much you can look up anymore.
Right. And then, so you started that at 8, and was the goal, at this point, you just wanted to drive cars and trucks because your dad was doing it and it seemed like a cool thing to do. Got it. So then at what point in your life did you decide, all right, this is something that I want to continue as a profession. I'm good enough at it. And like, let's lay out the roadmap for what I'm going to do as an adult. Yeah.
And I think obviously my dad was really good at everything he did when it came to racing, like whatever form of racing he was in, he succeeded at. And like, I saw my dad doing that. So I'm like, okay, I want to be like my dad. I want to do the same thing. I want to succeed. And so I think he really like instilled in me a lot of like drive when it comes to that, like figure it out, like however long it takes, whatever you got to do, try to figure it out. And so he obviously helped me a lot. And it's when I really started winning. Like when I was like 12, 13 years old, that's when it went from this is fun to this is serious, to where like, I want to beat everyone out there. I don't care to make friends type of deal. And so I think it really changed a lot for me around like my young teen years.
So then was your kind of transition into road racing, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was really through kind of the ARCA championship? Was that?
Yeah, it's K&N, back when it was K&N. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then now it's all with ARCA.
And so then looking quickly kind of at your resume, because I didn't want to get anything wrong, I was blown away with the amount of races that you've done, not only in K&N and ARCA, in trucks, Xfinity to a certain extent. So all of those years and all of those races that you did, are kind of on a ladder and a progression to get to Cup, right? That's everyone's goal. It's obviously it gets very finite towards the top of only so many drivers are doing it. Where then did the idea for kind of the open wheel stuff come about?
I mean, I've always loved road course racing. Like I got to do with Ford, and I'm still with Ford to this day. And with Ford, I got to go do the GT4 stuff and IMSA, and I finished on the podium there one of the races. Like it was I genuinely like I really enjoyed that stuff, had a blast doing it, and it was just like a great experience. And I've always like I love go-karting, like I just loved it. And so when I kind of saw an opportunity, like I kind of want to check this out, like see how it is, and kind of like learn and build myself as a driver, see if I get better at something. Like I feel like for me, I love racing. I'll race whatever I can. People offer me a dirt late model ride, I'll go drive it. Like I really don't care. It could be a street stock and I'll go drive it. Like I really do not care. I'll drive anything. So I think that's kind of where I see it as, okay, this is like a different avenue to try out. And I know it'll build my skill sets as a driver because it is a challenge. It is hard.
And I guess that leads really well into my next question. So what is like the biggest adaptation that you've had? You know, you mentioned you did some of the GT4 stuff, which is kind of a pretty nice stepping stone, if you will, from a true stock car into a car with downforce and an open wheel car and stuff. So what's been the biggest kind of hurdle to overcome, as is so much of your background has been kind of in the stock car side, a lot of oval racing stuff? Like what's been the big learning curve this year?
Honestly, I think the biggest hurdle for me is the physical side. And like I've always worked out my whole life just because I love it. I enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy working out. And my family obviously trains a lot. And my brothers and my dad, everybody, even my mom, it works out every single day. And so I always did that, but I never really trained with a purpose because I never had to. NASCAR stuff is not very physical at least.
Yeah.
And so I think if you just work out, you're in great shape for NASCAR. Whereas this stuff, I think I underplayed the lack of power steering so much that I was like, it was a big eye opener for me, and like still is to this day. So we've made a lot of changes to the car to help with that. But obviously you lose some of the ability in the car when you do that because you're catering so much to just trying to be able to survive. And so that's where for me, like, I feel like I'm behind in time of training and trying to get stronger and trying to just build up my strength for having no power steering. It is such a big difference when you've come from racing with power steering to make that transition to not have it.
Do you have any workout tips for Alex so he can stop being such a weak little bitch?
Obviously, he's doing way better than me.
Thanks, pal. So what, on the physical side of it, like what do you find? So Indy Next, you know, they do all the same types of tracks that we do, right? You've got your ovals, your road courses, your street courses. What's like the hardest type of course for you?
Oh, for sure. Obviously, like the road courses are very hard. And like Barber was bad for me. Like physically, I'd be like, okay, I'm not that far off when we get to practice or qualifying, whatever it is. Like, I'm be like, okay, I'm not bad. But like the longevity for me, I'm dying. Like after practice, the second practice, I'm back at like the Airbnb with my hands in like an ice bowl of water, just trying to like get some sort of strength back because I was just like, dying in pain. And so from just being sore. So I think tracks like those were hard. I don't think St. Pete, I was like in enough of a rhythm to like for it to be hard.
Because that would have been your very first like street course race you've ever done, right?
Yes. Yeah. Ever. I never did one on the NASCAR side. I didn't do Chicago or any of those races. So
and do you enjoy that type of track?
I think St. Pete, I didn't mind it a whole lot. Physically though, it was definitely hard. And for me, I don't like I'm not the biggest fan of not being able to like push yourself and make a mistake and rebound from it. And so that was one place.
It's very hard to learn.
Yeah. Like, I have to drive at 90% because like, there's no way I can destroy this car right now trying to figure it out. Like, and so I was just trying to get through that one. But like Detroit ended up there was a massive pileup that clogged everything up and ended up getting damage at Detroit on lap 1. And so that race was kind of whatever. So like, I feel like I haven't really got, now that I have a little bit of experience, like a true street course. I would like to do it again if I could. Understood.
So let's talk about that. So obviously you mentioned your connection with Ford, which has been going on for a couple of years now. You're a monster athlete. So, you know, a lot of, you know, name brand recognition attached to your name kind of by yourself, right? You know, obviously being a Deegan's great, but you've made a name for yourself. What do you envision your path is going forward? Or is it, you know, we're in August, it's a little bit too early to tell, but like, if you don't have that, what would your dream scenario be?
Oh man, it's hard to say because I'll go and race whatever. Like if an opportunity rose back on the NASCAR side, I would take that. Like I will do pretty much anything. I just want to race. I love racing. And then also it is hard, like with it being in August, to say like, because most sponsors don't even have their budget set. They're just talking about budgets for the next year. And so to be able to say like, hey guys, can you approve my deal for next year? It's just so early for companies. And that's also something that is hard though, because like testing with teams and stuff starts so early. And so it's like October, I'm like, my deal ain't even done yet. Like, and so it is kind of weird, the timing of everything, how it happens, because when you do have to bring sponsor money, it makes it very difficult because these sponsors and these companies can't fork up that type of money in January.
But you also, at the same time, like you said, you don't want to be behind the eight ball to guys that have a budget and do start testing. Yeah, I mean, it's the worst part of our sport. You know, we've talked a lot about it on this show. You know, how much money ultimately is the deciding factor for so many people, and it shouldn't be like that. But it's something that we all have to deal with at some time or another. Okay, so let's take a couple steps back. I'm always super curious about kind of the relationship that exists between a parent athlete and a child athlete, and talk us through like kind of how you've managed that with your dad. Because, you know, my father wasn't a race car driver, but he's been my manager kind of since day one. And so through the 20 plus years that we've been on this journey, you know, you have that, sometimes it's hard to separate the business guy and then the dad guy. But I imagine that's even more convoluted when it's someone who like has an opinion because they've done it. So walk us through how you guys do that so successfully.
Yeah, I think growing up, it was really funny because we were all so competitive growing up. Like me and my little brother Hayden were so competitive. It was always, and even between my dad, like we had this kind of like bar counter at our house growing up in California. And it was like, whoever has won the last race gets their trophy up there. And so it was like, we were constantly kicking each other off the bar counter. That was like a big deal. And like, we had a part of the house, there's a whole room in the house just for like our trophies. And it was like a constant like, oh, my trophy's up this week on the bar counter type of deal. And it was like between literally my little brother, me, and my dad. And so I think we all were kind of on the same, like we loved it. And like, that's how we kind of, I feel like our relationship is so strong is because of racing. And so like I couldn't imagine if I did like, cause I did whatever, say I went to college for volleyball, whatever it is. Like I couldn't imagine trying to talk to my dad about that because like, I feel like so much of our relationship has been built off racing and our experiences in racing. And so I think that it's made us very, very close and very strong on that side. But like, I think our mentality is all the same. Like I'm very tomboy mentality, aggressive personality. Like I'm not Miss Princess girl. Sure. Like I don't talk like that. I talk like one of the guys. Like, and I think that's why I'm able to get along with crew guys also so well. And so like a lot of the crew guys, it's pretty funny. Like when I go to a new team or somewhere, they're like, okay, like we don't know what we can say around here. We don't know if she's going to be like offended about this or that and like whatever. And like immediately me and my crew guys always click and they're like, wow, we didn't expect you to be like this. I'm like, what'd you guys expect me to be like? And so I think that I see myself as pretty much the same as everyone else. And I think coming from family to race teams, whatever that is, like, and I can I feel like my personality gets along with a lot of different type of people.
I mean, that's awesome because it's always cool when you hear that answer versus like, oh yeah, it's, you know, I feel like I kind of lost a parent through the process because there was so much pressure and stress. So it's nice that family dynamic, especially with your brother and your mom as well, has stayed intact through all this. Because for sure it's not always easy, right? There's always a lot of stress and uncertainties that come with it. So you mentioned a little bit about getting along so well with crew members and people you compete against. Being a woman in the sport, you know, we've talked to Catherine Legg quite a few times on this show, and she always kind of struggled to grapple with, okay, do I want to not bring attention to that, or do I want to bring attention to that and you know have somewhat of a leg up in terms of getting potential partnership deals and brand deals and endorsement deals and that sort of thing. And I imagine it's quite a fine line to walk, right? Because you want to be viewed as one of the guys, and you just want to be viewed as another competitor. But at the same time, you've got some leverage that the others don't have. Mm-hmm. Has that been difficult to kind of find your way, or has it been pretty seamless?
I mean, and like there is certain and I feel like when you talk about this type thing, in my eyes, how I see it is like, okay, partnering with certain brands, stuff that aligns with your image and who you want to portray yourself versus just like accepting every deal that comes your way. And so for me, I'm super big on I won't work with people. I've turned down quite a few deals because it just doesn't align with either I don't like the brand, I know I won't use the product, or it's something that I'm like, that is not me. I do not want to be associated with that whatsoever. And so I think there's a lot of that does happen. It's always the ones that you do not want to be associated with, looks bad, with your image, that want to pay the most. And
always.
So always. And so I think when it comes to that side of things, I've tried to stay true to myself. I'm so thankful that the deals I do have with Monster, I'm a caffeine addict, start to finish. I drink at least one energy drink a day. Everyone always asks me oh, it's water in your can. So I guess there's a stigma talking about that. I'm like, no, it's not.
No. Yeah.
I'm like, when you see me walking to the grid with a white Monster, the Monster Ultra in my hands, I'm genuinely drinking it. And so I think when it's working with brands like that, my dream car when I turned 16, I wanted a Ford Raptor. And there's so many different things. I love cooking. I cook everything from scratch. And so having a partner that's Pit Boss Grills that I have, amazing. And so I try to align myself with brands that are going to truly portray me, and I'm going to use a product. I won't do it if I'm not going to use it.
Amazing. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
There's been a lot with drivers on social media over the last, decade or so as drivers figure out that they need to use social media to reach fans and to have a presence for sponsors. I mean, now you have kind of a pushback like Joseph Newgarden unfollowing everybody on social media, or some drivers getting
including
in trouble for
wife.
liking stuff, including his wife. He had to actively unfollow his wife.
Wild. Yeah.
I don't know if she was still pregnant at the time or if that was after the baby was born, but it's a wild move. But you have taken to social media seemingly really naturally and have a large following and are able to stay in touch with fans. So how do you balance, putting that out while also focusing on the craft, or is that just second nature at this point?
I mean, I think, and I truly I thank my dad for this side of things, because my dad was popular and back on the marketing side before there was social media. Now marketing is so easy. It's at everyone's fingertips. But back in my dad's day, it was hard. You had TV, and just the presence of you being around. And he made this massive fan base that supported his clothing brand, and a massive clothing brand with Metal Musha back in the day. It did amazing. It was in Macy's, Dillard's, Tilly's, all these places that he was able to do that off his marketing and his tactics with that without social media. Now it's just oh, I post on social media and I get views or go viral, whatever. And people are oh, you're a mastermind of marketing. And it's no, it's just at your fingertips now. And so I truly thank my dad for that side of things, because he is so knowledgeable on that side. And when it comes to posting on social media, I've always just been super real and myself, and it's done well. And obviously I have a name because of with my dad and everything that gets me somewhat of a following, but I feel I've started to find my niches on social media, stuff I like posting, and I just be honest. And it's pretty funny because I feel I hit the wave on the NASCAR side, with my YouTube channel, to where at first when it was me and my fiance. It's my fiance now fiance. Back then when we were dating and stuff, he raced too. He raced back. We met racing K&N and ARCA. And when he stopped racing, he was in the Drive for Diversity deal. So it was a free program pretty much. And he just went out there and raced. Well, he didn't have any sponsor money to obviously go further, which you have to have in racing. And so he was helping me out on the social side. And I feel people kind of made fun of us in the beginning, within the garage because of me filming YouTube and doing everything and having a camera on 24/7. And then next thing you know, it's people texting us hey, when are you guys posting the next YouTube video? And kind of getting on us about it a few years later. And I was it's funny how the tables turn with that. And now everyone has a YouTube channel in NASCAR and is posting on that and trying to figure it out. And hey, let's collab, let's do this. And I'm it's funny how things change once you start seeing the power of it.
You can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Tim wrote a children's book. So he thought it was the marketing that was the problem on the social media. It turns out it was not. It was just terrible book. Anyways,
I'm sure it was great.
Which you can buy on Amazon.
I'll check it out.
So anyways, that's all the time we have for now. We don't want to take any more of it, but thank you very much for coming on. And, we will be following very closely what you do in the future. And we love everything you're doing. So keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This has been Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. Off Track is part of the SiriusXM Sports Podcast Network. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please give a 5-star rating and leave a review. Subscribe today wherever you stream your podcasts. We are at Ask Off Track on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at Hinchtown and at Alexander Rossi. If you want to follow Tim, though we have no idea why you would, he's at the Tim Durham on Twitter. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel for exclusive video content. Off Track is produced by Tim Durham, and by that we mean Tim.